Hi, I am here to talk about my mission. My mission, I have been trying to figure out for years. The purpose of why I'm here, what I'm supposed to be doing. What I've realized is that the softer I became in my looking for it, the more I relaxed and allowed the answers to come to me naturally on their own, the easier it was to figure it out. So it was almost like the more wrapped up in finding out, like, well, what should I be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I here for? What's the right next move? The more I focused on those kind of thoughts, the more I held the answer away from me because I was playing in the energy of I don't know and I need to find out. And what is the answer? And will I ever know? And how will I know? And when you're in that energy, those are the only kind of solutions you can get is more of the same, which isn't really a solution at all. So by releasing my attachment to needing to know, by healing through the layers of, I don't know if it's considered envy. I don't know why that's been coming up lately, but like feeling like other people were doing it without me. Like, what if that's what I'm supposed to be doing and everybody else is doing it ahead of me and I'm going to miss out? Like that type of feeling. Letting go of all of that and just being and allowing and surrendering and really like soaking in the present moment, being in a place where I can access my heart space, where I'm one with God, one with the universe, where I am accepting and allowing everyone else and everything else that's going on in this world for what it is, other people's stories and timelines playing out, and really focusing on my own truths and my own power. And so again, in like releasing and allowing and relaxing into whatever unfolds is what's best for all on a moment-to-moment basis and being in the present moment, I was able to gain the clarity that I've been looking for so long. And so what I am here to do is inspire other people to step into their own power. And there's a million ways to do that. So, I think that one of the lessons I'm here to teach is it doesn't need to look a certain way. And you need to be really discerning of who you're learning from and really kind of feel into it. Does this resonate? Does this feel aligned with me? And does it feel good? Does it feel like it's helping? And if you're learning from, a teacher or a friend or, someone online or a spiritual guru, whatever, and it doesn't feel right, if something's pinging you with that gut instinct, like, oh, I don't know, then really listen to that and take a look at that, because there's more than one way to do it, so many ways, in fact. And there is, tons of different tools and tips and tricks, and you'll hear people say, like, this is the way, you have to follow this step, this step, this step, and that works for a lot of people. But if you're one of the people it's not working for, it's not that you're broken, it's just that there's so many different ways. And to be honest, it's almost like all the different ways are like training wheels for our mind, getting it on board with understanding our own power. So the power is within you all the time, and the power is used by your intention to use it, and your intention to make things happen and to be in a certain energy and to create certain things. And when you strengthen that intention muscle and you set your sights or set your goals, then everything else can kind of fall into place if you can unattach from the outcome. And so that's what we learn in Law of Attraction. You may have heard that before, but I really want to, stress the fact that any of the tools that you use and any of the processes you follow and any of the stories that you hear, that's just one way to do it. That's just giving your own power over to a tool in order for your mind to get on board, for your mind to understand what's happening. Because if I'm using a tool that this person says works and, it's got a lot of people, backing it or whatever, then my mind is more likely to be like, okay, I can get behind this. This probably works. And then allow these solutions to come in. Whereas if you just come out the gate like, hey, I've been living in a job I hate and creating things I don't want, and teach me what to do, and I say just, set your goal and your intention and decide what you want and you can have it. Like, you can't make that leap. Like, your mind's going to be like, what? No, like, this isn't going to work. And you're going to have all kinds of things come up. And even with the tools, you have things come up, and that's sometimes why they don't work. Because when you set your intention on getting something, and most of the time we need to learn to detach, and that's like a very hard lesson that I'm still learning in certain ways. But once you do finally detach from the outcome, and you know it's going to happen and you trust, then everything that's vibrating within you that's in the way of you getting to that goal will start to show itself so that you can work through it. And so it's, layers upon layers of healing. And in that same, thought path, I just want to kind of go off topic a little bit to say that even though the people who've gone before you, you may have heard people say like how grueling it is to go through these healings and how long and drawn out it is, and how many layers, and their life was a mess for like 2-3 years and all of this stuff. I don't want that to deter you, because had people told me what I was going to go through or what I was going to discover, I probably would have never stepped foot on the path, right? But I'm glad that I did, because it wasn't what I thought it was. It didn't turn out the way it did for the people before me that I heard of. It was faster, easier, quicker than it had been for people previous. So some of the people that I looked up to in the beginning, it had taken them 10, 15 years. Some of them still hadn't figured out how to create what they wanted, and they were in their 70s. But just like when we hit world records, like the world running record, I don't know what the numbers are, but let's say it was like, I know like back in the 50s or whatever, it was like stuck at a certain point forever, and no one thought anyone could ever run a mile in less time than that. And then all of a sudden someone broke it, and once one person broke the record, all of a sudden everyone broke the record. It was easy because then their minds believed it could be done, and so it was like easier for them to break that barrier as well. And then it was like a new record was set, and a new record was set. And so that's kind of how it all works collectively. So, now that we have paved the way for teaching our subconscious how to let go of these old traumas, for, people who've done generational healing like me, that has affected exponentially people in the world. And because we're all connected, when one person heals within, it heals the collective as well. And so although you may still have things that are getting in your way, or you don't know why you're not creating the life you want, take heart that it's going to be so much easier for you than it was for those that went before you. It's going to be able to happen quicker. I'm not going to say it's going to be a breeze. Everybody's path is different, and you have lessons to learn here. You have, patterns that you've maybe been repeating throughout your life that you really need to recognize when they come up, see what they're there for, see where they came from, connect the dots in your head in order to allow them to be, in order to transcend them and, create something new. And so that is a process. How long it's going to take is going to be, very, very individual. So who knows? But in this energy, in this time, because of how many people have already gone before you, because there's so many people who have broken those barriers, and because of the era that we're in right now, 2021 is like this celestial event in terms of energy on the planet. And it even is scientifically measured with the Schumann resonance, which is the vibration of the planet itself. That the vibration of our literal planet is like really high compared to what it used to be. So, when we talk about vibrations, I think most of you know the basics of that. Let me know in the comments if you need a little more information, and I can do another video on the basics of vibration. But basically, the law of resonance means that if the planet's vibrating higher, any lower vibrational energies that are still lodged within your system, they have no choice but to kind of vibrate and dislodge themselves And when they dislodge themselves, you're noticing them. They're coming up, and some people call them ascension symptoms, healing crisis, whatever. You may think of them as just headaches and, gut issues, digestive problems. They can come up as even like backaches or just like knee problems, stuff like that. And I want to say 9 times out of 10, but I truly believe 100% of the time, these little aches and pains and issues, they're always energetically related. There's always something energetic or emotional at the base of them. The pain in your body is its signal to you that you're missing something. Hey, there's something to look at here. Something's coming up for your attention. And when you learn to tune into those physical feelings in your body, knowing that they're attached to emotional issues or patterns or cellular, imprints, things like that, and you learn how to harness your own intention to heal them, then you free yourself from these little things that happen every day. And so my point being, because I'm always long-winded, my point being that when you get control of your own energy and you find whatever path it is to heal all that stuff and step into your own power and shine your light and be who you're meant to be, no matter what anyone else thinks about it. When you can do that, then you can turn your focus with us to the world. And when people like us who are standing fully in their power turn their attention collectively to create something, it's unbelievable how fast and powerful that can happen. So the more people we get collectively focused on the same major outcome, the faster we can change the world. And that means, if the only thing we can all agree on is peace, equality, and abundance, great. All of us focus on peace, equality, abundance, standing in our full power, knowing that we can create this, and bam, everything's going to fall into place and we're going to have it. And I know that sounds like magic. And if anybody's resistant to this message or kind of like, I don't know, please drop a comment or even direct message me. I'd love to have a one-on-one conversation or address your concerns in the comments here, because I too was a skeptic. I came from trauma. I came from, if you've seen some of my other videos, I just came from a life where I was a victim, where I did not have the power and I did not see how I could get the power. It wasn't my fault. And I have fought and taught myself every step of the way, and I have proven magic and miracles exist. I've proven it in my own life in crazy ways that are unexplainable, where I'm like, wow, this is reality. This actually works. And I've seen it collectively. I've seen things playing out. The more that I start to connect to people who have the same, mentality or goals as I do, or similar even, and the more that they kind of focus on bringing in this new type of world, the more the old world is falling apart. And I don't think that anybody wanted the world to fall apart, but we all wanted change. We all wanted a better world. And in order to have a better world and better systems and just, everything to change, the old world has to fall apart. But again, if we can usher those changes in faster, we can get to the good part faster. And not only am I invested in helping people get there for the collective and for the world, but for you. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm happy and it feels good. And it took me, I'm 40 this year. And although I've been on the path to real happiness the past 2 or 3 years, this is the year. This past year, I went through the last little bits of my growth, and it's amazing. Every single day, I just feel good. I'm creating what I want. I have the relationships that I want, and I want that for each of you. And so if you're not sure, what could it hurt to try? What could it hurt to try to focus on the positives, to set some intentions to positively change your life, to set some intentions to let go of all the old baggage and focus on what you do want instead of what you don't want, and see where that takes you? When we focus on what we do want, that's what we'll get. Our mind will look for the proof to prove to us that that's what's really happening. So yeah, bunch of like just little things in here, but I have done previous videos on some of this stuff where I go more in depth, and I'm happy to do that if anybody wants to have more information. I really would love to hear your comments about where you're at with this. Like, those are my intentions for this year, is to help as many people as I can step into their own power so that we can create together on a bigger, grander scale. What are your intentions? I'd love to hear that too. I think it's really important to set intentions, especially this time for the year, but I don't really put too much stock in the yearly intentions. But intentions all the time, every single day. Like when I wake up in the morning, I set my intentions for the day. When, I'm going out to run errands, I set my intention for running the errands, that things will go smoothly and that it will be a pleasant time. It's a hard habit to create when you're not used to doing it, but when you set intentions, you're paving the way. You're setting up like an energetic grid to the future for things to turn out the way that you want, or to turn out in your best interest, or in the best interest of all. So I hope this helps, and Happy New Year. Love you guys.